Good afternoon, buenas tardes. Thank you, my dear Annick, for joining us today. We are in your beautiful little paradise, which we call absolute luxury. We're at Sweet Bocas in Panama. But thank you everyone also for joining this webinar. We are going to start by a PowerPoint presentation, and you're going to take us together. You're going to show us your place afterwards, and then we're going to watch some videos. Voilà.
I was just telling Dominique that I can probably go around near the end just to walk around the bottom floor of the house, but we're in maintenance right now. We've got scaffolds everywhere outside the house. We're sanding and varnishing whenever we can. When there's nobody here, there's a lot of tarps everywhere and stuff. So you're not going to see it like you would see it in the presentation, but it's a glorious day here, and it's always glorious weather here. So you'll be able to see how great it is live. It looks exactly like this.
What about the location? How to get there?
So the way to get here is fly into Panama City. There's a lot of direct flights from many cities in the US with Copa Airlines. You can also fly American or Delta, but Copa Airlines has many direct flights from many cities in the US. Once you're in Panama City, you can fly over to Bocas del Toro by commercial with one airline, because there's only one airline available in the country called Air Panama. The flight is about 45-50 minutes. There are 4 daily flights. And then during the high season or peak season, like Christmas, New Year's, and spring breaks, they add on more flights, but it's according to the demand. So the more they have, the more flights they put in. They can go up to like 8 or 9 flights a day. If you want to fly private, you can fly private directly to Bocas del Toro International Airport, because we have an international airport here that's 10 minutes away from the property. Or you can fly private from Panama City to Bocas. We are partners in an FBO, and we can provide any kind of planes that you need, depending on how many people you are, and be able to fly you over from Panama City to Bocas. So this is where we are. You're standing on a coral reef. You've got the best snorkeling in the entire archipelago right underneath the house. We have a 20,000 square foot villa, completely all made out of teak. And then you see the dock there that's 130 meters long that goes into what you see on this picture is the beginning of the estate that we have that is 22 hectares. And on that estate is a whole other world of all kinds of things that we make you experience throughout your stay. So that's the villa. It sits on over 135 stilts of concrete underneath this coral reef that I was talking to you about. Some people have mice underneath their homes or in their basement. We have centollos, crabs. So you have the opportunity to go and get your own crabs with our chef, who then cooks it for you, and you can just have this wonderful gastronomical experience to have like some of the freshest crabs you'll ever have. There's a lot of, so this is the front of the house. There's 7 bedrooms in the main villa. And then on the property, we have a guest house with 4 bedrooms. And we also have 2 lake suites in front of our big private freshwater lake that you'll see a little bit further down in the presentation. So we have 13 rooms in total. You see some people on the deck of the house here with surfboards, because Bocas del Toro is a mecca for surfing. There are many reefs around the archipelago, as close as 10 minutes from the property and as far as an hour away. And you can go from very beginning with somebody who's never surfed before to pro surfers who spend many days here because they're fascinated about how incredible the surf is here. And you actually don't have to wait for your wave, because this little place is a gem and nobody has ever found out about it, or not much anyway. So it hasn't never been commercialized, and it's not busy. So you can actually enjoy yourself surfing every morning session and every afternoon session that you have. So you just saw us sitting there that we set up at the house or on the floating pontoon that we have, which is kind of like a Moroccan-ish style that you have drinks and cocktails before dinner. This is the view of the house. It's a 365-degree view. It feels like you're on a yacht, but you're just not moving. It's exactly the same concept. So as far as dietary restrictions are concerned, we have a whole questionnaire that your guests or your clients have to fill out. We're very, very fastidious on it because we don't have the luxury of having a corner store around us to be able to go and get what we're missing. So everyone has to answer every question that we have. We are not completely self-sustainable, but we are farm to table concept. We have a farm on the project, so we grow our vegetables and we have our own fruit forest and we have our own chickens and eggs and we cultivate fish and seafood. But there are things that we can't get, like the meats we import from Colombia and Argentina. And if your client has to have berries every morning with his granola and yogurt, we have to get it in the province next door where it's cooler and there's mountains, because we don't grow berries in the tropics, obviously. So, there's things that we have to be able to know in advance in order to be, and all the dairies, we can't have cows here because it's too hot. So we obviously have to buy the milk, although the chef makes his yogurt and makes some of his cheese. But, there are dairy products that we really need to know about and that we really need to get because we can't provide them here. So this is another part of the house. Sorry?
I just wanted to say something that I love is that one side, the water is much more shallow. So it's great to play, it's great for kids. And on the other side, you can dive. It's deep enough to dive. So it's
correct.
Unusual to have that option, huh?
Yeah, in front of the house, you can dive. It's literally because you're sitting right on the point of the reef. So the front of the house, you can dive. It's like 40, 50, 60 feet deep without a problem. But on the sides, on high tide, it's about 5, 6 feet. And low tide, it's like 3 feet deep. So you have to, yes, we have staircases and you just go down by the sides. So this is part of the house where I am now. This is exactly inside of it. Very open concept kitchen, dining room. The hostesses are there to serve everybody. And when cocktail hour comes, we have, bartenders and hostesses that are there that know how to make incredible cocktails and great drinks. And the chef preps in the prep kitchen every meal and comes to do the final show and the final cooking, whether it's on the green egg like you see here, because we have 3 of them around the property. One of them is at the villa. And then this is one of our pergolas, which is one of the places during the stay that we bring you to. You have all the breakfasts and the lunches at the house, but the dinners, we have 5 different places on the property that you can experience different things for dinner. And they're all very different. They're all very special and very cool things to do. And this is one that you see, the 2 pictures on the bottom is the pergola.
Mm-hmm. What's very special, I think, it's the quality of the food. The food is amazing.
Yes.
So, on the top of being in a great location, people don't expect to have that level of dining, being your own private island, a little not far from everything, but nice surprise.
It's a very important key to the project. And thank you for mentioning it, Dominique, because, there's a lot of beautiful places in the world. And I think it's, we all think it's wonderful. But if you're in a place that it's not only beautiful and luxurious, but you have this fantastic gastronomical experience, chances are you're going to talk about it to a lot more people than if the food is just, okay.
Yeah.
So we emphasize on really making it, the best stuff that we can find and have. And the chefs that we've had over the years, we have now an incredible chef as well. We've always, Dominique, you've had the opportunity to taste food from other chefs that we've had here over the years, but we've been always very lucky and very privileged to have very creative chefs, very talented, very passionate, chefs about, what they do. And so it shows in their meals. This is the 7th bedroom of the house, which is on the main floor. It's the only room with the television, so it can be kind of like a TV room, playroom, and it turns into a bedroom mostly for grandparents because we have a lot of multi-generational families who come to see us. We have a lot of grandparents in their 80s that come and that feel more comfortable to just not have to go up and down that big staircase that we have because it's quite high and there's quite a lot of stairs. So it closes all up. It's got all the blackouts. It's got its own bathroom. It's got, you know, AC and everything. So it turns into a bedroom if the room is needed. You've got kids who sleep there as well because they love it. There's a TV so they can, you know, watch movies at night or whatever. So that's the seventh room of the house.
And you have a king size mattress. Huh? That's why I call it a 6-bedroom residence with your room. That the set this way.
Correct. All the rooms have king size beds, and many of the rooms can be configured differently. You can add on single beds, double beds, depending on the size of the room, because we have rooms in the attic that are humongous. We sometimes have clients who take that as their master bedroom because it's very big and it's upstairs and it's very private. But we also have multi-gen. This is one of them, but it goes way bigger than that. There's a whole other part to the bedroom. We can fit 6, 7, 8 kids in there with like single beds and all that. And so when you have a multi-gen family of like 14 or 15 kids, they all sleep in those 2 bedrooms in the attic, and then the adults take everything else. That's our guest house. It's a 4-bedroom house, 2 rooms on the bottom, 2 rooms on the top. And there's a sharing bathroom on each floor. Every room in the house has its own en-suite bathrooms. The guest house has a sharing bathroom on each floor. So these are some of the bedrooms that you have in the guest house. It's the same linens, it's the same mattresses, same pillows, same everything, but you don't have the view of being on the ocean like the villa, but you have a beautiful view of the pond that you just saw, where we cultivate some fish and some seafood. We have freshwater shrimps and we have all kinds of stuff in there. And you also have the view of like the fruit forest and kind of like the jungle. It's a whole other feeling, but it's also very, very interesting.
Very cozy and
yeah, very cozy. Dominique, you've slept there before too.
That's why I remember the feeling. You know, because everything is mini. The kitchen is mini compared to the other, but it's really nice. It's like a little villa.
Yes, the guest house works for teenagers or young adults that don't want to have anything to do, to be with their parents, or it works for staff as well, because we have clients who come with their staff, or who comes with their bodyguards, or who come with their pilots, and that they want everybody to stay on the property with them. These 2 lake suites that I was talking about are also very, very beautiful. They fit a family of 4 to 5. You can have the 2 parents and 2 to 3 kids, but we also, clients sometimes use them for staff or use them for bodyguards because they don't want them too close from them. So, you know, it depends on what the client wants and how flexible the client is. So we have like different accommodations. So that's the lake, that's the freshwater lake that I was talking about. So you can see on the top of the screen, the villa. This was during a sunset, because the sun sets right in front of the villa, and you can have some of the most beautiful sunsets you've ever seen. And this is the entire lake. So we have a tennis court that's at the bottom of the screen, and in the middle of the lake is another structure that we have there, where we have special events, special dinners. We have like, yeah, exactly. That's where Dominique is right now. We call it the Kajba just because it's very Moroccanish style. It's got all the Moroccan lamps, the candles, the fire pits. It's got all the carpets and the cushions and the puffs. It's like very, very cozy, very warm. There's been a lot of great parties that have happened there. We can do fireworks. We have a band that comes and plays live music. We have DJs and stuff. So it's like the whole thing, you know, becomes very alive. That's our pontoon. So what we do is, and right now you can't really see it because it's during the day, but at night it's all candlelit everywhere because there's no electricity on the pontoon, and it goes around the lake and it does as many rounds as the guests want. And then we park it, and we either go to the island where Dominique is, what I was just explaining, or we go to the pergola and have dinner there. On this island is like a full-on kitchen, dining room, lounging area. It's like, this is all right now. The carpets aren't there and the poofs aren't there, but you have the idea of like, you know, how it looks. And obviously at night it's like a lot more, the lights are more dim, and it's just very like anyone who's been to Morocco before, you kind of have a very nice, warm, quaint feeling. about the whole.
What I like also is you could not do the pontoon tour, you could not be on the ocean. And meanwhile, for the aperitif with music and candle, you can go around the lake, but you don't realize you're going around. I remember the first time I thought, was next door. We should have landed already. I don't know why.
Correct.
And I realized we're just going around and around. But I remember
Correct.
thinking, wow, that takes a while. Huh?
Correct. And you get to see the property all lit up. And we tell very little to the client when they're here because we want it to be more of a wow surprise effect. So we try to organize that we do that evening with the pontoon and everything prior to the property tour. So we try to do it like the night after the client gets here so that he totally, I mean, his mind just completely shifts. And then, like Dominique said, like people have no idea what's going on. And they're like, oh my God, oh my God. And they're just so surprised and happy and flabbergasted because it's very different.
Yeah.
You know, we don't claim to be better than anybody because there's a lot of great stuff going out there, but it's a very different experiences and people remember it for a very, very long time. So that's our infinity pool that you can see is like literally 30 seconds away from the main villa. Dominique's favorite is that you can ask whether you want it with fresh water or whether you want it with salt water, because we can do either or. Most people like it fresh just because when they come out of the ocean, they come to the pool to just kind of rinse off and hang out a bit and have a drink or whatever it is. But we've had some people who've asked us for salt water. So we just put it we fill it up with, we empty it out with the fresh water and we fill it up with the salt water.
No, this is a very rare option. Huh? Not many hotels or maybe private residents offer that.
Yeah. So this is our gym. It's fully equipped. It's got all the equipment with techno gym equipment with the elliptical and the treadmill and the bicycles, and we have spinning bikes and we have TRX. We have a fantastic trainer who does CrossFit. We have a lot of yogis that have been doing it for over 20 years that are wonderful and fabulous. And we have massage therapists and physiotherapists and who practice acupuncture and Chinese medicine as well. We've had clients who've wanted to bring their massage therapist here with them. And I said, look, I really don't think it's necessary. And they tried a Bianca or Juan Martin or whoever it is we have here. And the Bianca that you see in this picture right now, some clients have tried to bring her home.
I know.
So tennis court, tennis court, which we now also, because this picture is a few years old, but we now also have a pickleball court painted in the tennis court because for a few years now, it's been very popular, as you all know. And so every client wants to play pickleball and we organize tournaments, and where you see the gentleman standing there, we have like chairs and the hostesses come and make drinks, and we have like little, you know, things to eat, snacks, this, that, whatever. It's like a whole event. And the tournament can sometimes last like 3-4 days because depending on the amount of people and so on and so forth, it's like it makes it, you know, very, very lively. Conversations get very, very spicy from time to time, and it's all really good. This is the boathouse. Again, another place to hang out. We have dinners there as well, depending on the amount of people. Obviously, if we have 30 plus people, it's not possible. But if we have like up to 15 people, we have long teak tables that we take out like whatever you see here, and we set up a whole dining experience. The chef cooks on the bar here with like barbecues and rock boxes for pizza night, for example, and stuff like that. So it's another area that we have something. And we also have dinners by the pool with the Moroccan style cushions and stuff like you originally saw at the deck of the house. But that also depends on how many people there are, because if there's too much of a group, there's just not enough space for us to do that. So here's Terry Sims. He's one of our partners. He brings in a lot of surfers. He was one of the top pro surfers in the world back in the day. Terry is now 60. But back in his 20s, he was really, I mean, he's still a great surfer. So if guests want to be able to surf with him, we kind of set everything up and he comes down and meets the client here and spends whatever amount of time with the client that the client needs him for. We have incredible surfers here in-house as well. So all the activity guides that are part of the rental price are all incredible surfers. They've been surfing for 10, 15, 20 years. They know all the reefs, they know all the spots, and they have these great apps that tell them where's the wind and where are the waves and this and that. So every day they know exactly where to take you and where not to take you if it's not good and if the conditions aren't great and so on and so forth. So we're all set up with that. We have all the boats, we have all the boards, we have soft boards, we have hard boards. If we need to rent, we can rent, but all of that is included in the rental price. We're not charging extra for surfers who come in and so on and so forth and whatever else. These are beaches. They're all around the property. They're as close as 10 minutes away, or again, an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And they're all deserted like this. It's like there are hundreds of islands in the archipelago here. They all have their own beaches, and we take the guests to some of them, whether it's for a few hours or whether it's for the entire day. We bring a picnic lunch, we bring a volleyball net, we set up anything and everything that the client wants to have there. And the activity guides spend, whatever time it is that the client wants to be there for. This is something extremely special that we've had since COVID. Instead of watching movies in that room that we showed you about the grandparents or the kids staying in, this is a giant screen that comes out of the ocean for movie night. So every night you have the opportunity to either binge on a television series that you haven't had a chance to look at, or any movies that you want. We download it through our program, and then the projector, it's like a whole setup that we do. And you get to, we have day beds in front of the house that we can bring to the back as many people. We had a client celebrating his 60th birthday here this year in February for the Super Bowl. So they watched Super Bowl on that screen. It was wonderful. They'll remember that Super Bowl for a very long time. So we try to, the idea of Sweet Bocas is that we try to just make people live different experiences, and we try for people to just really be like, they don't have to, they don't even have to think about bringing a sunscreen with them when they go somewhere, like water, towels, this or that. It's like they just have to walk over to the boat. They just have to get on the boat, and then they just have to be taken to wherever it is they want to be. We think about everything. It's like you've got nothing to, you just kind of hang out, you just kind of disconnect, you just kind of be, and it's like you can be wearing the same thing the entire time you're here. No one's going to care. You don't have to, like, you don't want to wash your hair the entire time you're here. No one's going to care. Women, don't bring any high heels, because you're not even allowed to be wearing them in the house. So it's really like, it's a very luxurious place. It's a very different place. It's a very cozy, comfortable place, but it's also very authentic, not to be confused with rustic, because we have nothing to do with being rustic, but we're very, very, very authentic. The service here is so custom made, like you have no idea. We've had people who have been so used to, and which there's absolutely nothing wrong with, to go to the Four Seasons or the St. Regis or the Ritz or the Hammam and like all this corporate stuff, as like, so when they come to us, they're like hugging us, because we're like taking such good personal custom made service for them. It's like they're flabbergasted about the attention.
Oh, did I lost you?
Yeah. This is no longer, this is where you saw the lake suites. This was taken down, and we rebuilt during COVID the houses that you saw previously earlier in the presentation. This is our pond. This is where we cultivate the fish and some freshwater shrimp. This is an aerial view from the villa. The whole villa is 20,000 square feet, 2,000 square meters for the ones who work in meters. So you can be, the biggest multi-gen family we've ever accommodated so far is 16 adults and 17 kids, ages 18 months old to 16 years old. and no one ever felt like they were one on top of each other. And for the ones that are worried about toddlers and little children to be around the house, I understand the worry, but there's really no need to worry because there's a lot of staff around the house. The decks of the house are like 40 feet wide. So before there's even a child that gets to the end of the deck, someone's there to make sure that it doesn't happen. We have life vests. We can hire extra nannies. The activity guides are here. The hostesses are here. I'm here. I mean, it's like they're in 9 years we've been operational. Nothing has ever and we've had many, many, many toddlers and many kids come here. It's a paradise for kids. They love it. They cry because they don't want to leave here. So it's like there's no, and I understand, I respect the worry and the motherhood of like feeling, but there's absolutely no worries to have. We even have like these parks that are made out of like plastic that you can move around the house. They're quite big. They're actually like probably 20 feet long by 20 or 30 feet wide. And we have these huge, thick mattresses that we put on the floor so that the kids aren't on the direct wooden floor, and nobody ever uses them. We have them when we know that kids are coming, but nobody cares for them, but we put them there just in case someone is going to use it one day. But it's really, there's no, it's like there's so many staff. We have 27 people on staff here. So it's like, there's plenty of eyes around everywhere for nothing to be happening.
Mm-hmm. You want to see one more video like cuisine at Sweet Bocas, or what we do? Huh?
Yeah, if you want. I mean, you could put what was the other one that you had?
I have deserted beach. I have the surfing, the Sweet Bocas estate.
You could do the cuisine. We actually see the Kasbah there quite a bit because it was the video was done in the where you are actually.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was partly in the Kasbah and partly in the prep kitchen, but you can maybe.
Can you see it well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the food is truly amazing. Huh? And I like the variety as well, because it's not like he's cooking Panamanian or this only. It's like a mix of everything. Yeah.
Correct. There's like a whole, it depends what it is. I mean, there's different themes for different evenings and different, it's very, very, very diversified indeed. There's some Caribbean stuff, obviously, because, and by the way, we are on the Caribbean side of the country. And we are part of the Caribbean. I have many agents who've told me how many clients of theirs are jaded to go to the Caribbean because they're always going to the same places, yet nobody knows about us, but we are in the Caribbean. I mean, more and more people are starting to know about us. But what I'm saying is people don't think of Panama when they think about the Caribbean. People don't think about Panama, period, when it comes to luxury. And I think it's very important that you sell Sweet Bocas as the destination and not Panama. Any agent or anybody who has sold this place have always sold it in a way that Sweet Bocas is the destination. So it's not, and we're on the Caribbean side. There's no, here on the Caribbean, you've got no crocodiles, you've got no venomous snakes, you don't have Scorpios and tarantulas, you don't have sharks, you don't have, I mean, it's like, there's nothing dangerous. There's no waves. We're in a bay. And so there's no tornadoes, there's no hurricanes. In all of Panama, there's no hurricanes, there's no tornadoes. Where we're located in the world map, scientists and have come up with studies that claim up until now, hopefully it's going to continue that way, but there's never been any natural disasters of any sort happening since the history of Panama. So it was one of the reasons why we decided to build this house out of teak, because otherwise we never would have taken the risk to build what we did if it was hurricane season or tornadoes or whatever. It's like it wouldn't have been possible for us to do something like that. And we've been here 18 years. We've been building for 13, and we've been operational for 9. And we've never had, yes, there's good rainstorms from time to time for sure. Although speaking about the weather, there are no green seasons or rainy seasons here, and there haven't been for like 7 years at least. I've been here 18 and I've lived rainy seasons from like mid-June to end of August. That no longer exists. It hasn't existed in 7 or 8 years now. And this year has been, if you follow the news from time to time, the Panama Canal is having a hard time being able to have the boats go by like they used to, because the water level is so low, because there hasn't been rain in this country in like almost a year.
Yeah.
We're like hitting the year. So there's no, I mean, I'll turn my computer around once we finish this thing, but it's like the weather has been, I mean, I'm in my little, because it's too hot. It's like over 100 degrees. And it's like the weather is like this every single day, 365 days a year. It's like the evenings never get lower than 80, and you'll go during the day between 90 to 100, 105. There are days where it's very breezy, like today, and there are days where it's very flat. And if it rains, it drizzles. And right now it mostly rains at night or early in the morning for like 7.5 minutes. And that's it. Like there's been no rain. It's been like,
Thank you very much, Annick. I don't know if there is any question, but I don't see any. I think we did a complete tour together with the video and the presentation. Huh?
great.
And but I do not see any questions. So
There was one from Céline when we first started.
yeah, she was just saying hello to you.
Ah, okay.
Voilà,
Great.
voilà. Huh? Voilà.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. Annick, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I think we did a great tour. And
Yes.
And then you said you still have a little bit of availability. Huh?
We have availability for New Year's. We're still starting December 27th. So, and we have like a few weeks in 224. I think we have the 1st of Feb, the 1st of March, although now I have a request and I have a hold on it, so I'm not quite sure, but we have the first week of February. March is pretty full. February is getting pretty filled up. We might have the end of February. There's a few weeks. I mean, there's like a few.
But we need to do before the end of the year, huh? If there is any request, think about.
But New Year's is still like, that's my priority right now. I have to book
Voilà.
New Year's. So anyone?
Two special, amazing destination, yes, indeed.
Yes.
And we have few travel advisors that just came back a few days ago, for last week, and they said it was a meeting, and it was their second time. So it's just getting better and better. Huh?
Yep.
All right. So thank you for joining us, and see you soon
everybody.
on another webinar. Thank you, my dear Annick. It was a pleasure to have you.
Nice to see
And
you.
congratulations, because again, it's getting just better and better, as we said. Huh? Allez, I leave you with
Try my
paradise. Bye.
Oh, bye.